everyone could suck in that place. So, I'm telling you. So the license means nothing. Like it does mean they pass inspection, but
the thing that you told me that it never clicked on my head was like, just because you have the license doesn't mean you took a drawing test.
There is no type of test. They don't ask you nothing. There's nothing. They don't ask you, have you ever picked up a tattoo machine before? Nothing.
Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate the time you took to check out the channel. You already here. Might as well go and subscribe. Why? Because it helps us a lot. Mucho. Nos ayuda mucho whenever you subscribe today. And it's free. Unless you pay for subscription, then I feel you, but not me. I'm going to keep it free. Check it out. Today we have an amazing episode. We have a certified licensed tattoo artist originally from El Paso, Chuco Town, Texas. Now she resides in Fort Worth, part owner of Ink and Beauty. I say part owner because she is owner with her spouse, which is a private tattoo studio. Drea, a.k.a. Andrea en la casa. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here. I told myself this year I was going to get into more podcasts and getting myself out there. So I'm really happy to be here.
We're kind of sort of like the stop for people that want to, bucket list, check it out, to be on a podcast. And we really appreciate, at least for me, it's very special for me that the people that want to be and be interviewed, talk a little bit about their life, share a little bit about their life and their story. So thank you. But first, we're going to continue with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. We have new graphics coming. I still have something I got to get to Carlos. That was my bad. I should order it now. But be on the lookout for new graphics. ¿Estás lista? Are you ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
What's your go-to taco? What kind?
Honestly, it's just that you could go so many ways. Like... even being, vegetarian, vegan, a potato taco, like, just goes crazy. Right now the hype is the birria and the everything. It's so good. It's terrible for you, but it's just a taco can go so many ways. So
absolutely. I like the mushroom tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the mushroom tacos. Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
Flour.
Flour?
Yeah. Gorditas
or pupusas?
So my husband's Salvadorian.
Wow.
I'm going to have to do the pupusas.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
She went with pupusas, bro. You good.
Yeah.
Red or green chile enchiladas?
Green.
It's green?
Yes.
Okay. Mexican coca or jarritos?
You know what? Oh my God, there's a Salvadorian soda. It's orange as well.
Uh-huh.
What is it called? My husband's probably going to look at me like...
It's not Goya by any chance.
No, it's not Goya. It's called... I'm gonna hate that I can't remember. But it's a Mexican coca too, but it's like their Salvadorian
Fanta, the version of it.
Kind of, jarrito. So
if you find a Carlos...
I know. It's going to come to me like
So if
randomly.
Carlos happens to remember or look it up on Google and put a picture of it, that's the one she was talking about.
It's usually in a plastic bottle.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. Agua de horchata, Jamaica, or tamarindo?
I do horchata.
Salsa verde, salsa roja. Do you like spice? Verde?
I do. I love
Team
spice.
Salsa verde all day, baby, right here too.
I love spice.
I love the verde. Menudo or pozole? Pozole. You said earlier something very interesting. Since you're from El Paso,
yeah,
y'all do menudo. When you do menudo, you don't do with tortillas
at all.
You do with the bread.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense with tortillas
at all.
The bread soaks it up. It's like it goes together, So yeah, when I moved here, I was like, what's going on here?
So if for whatever reason you never tried some menudo with some pan, highly recommend it.
Yeah,
it seems like
a lot of butter.
A lot of butter. Terrible for you. Just one time, okay?
Just one time.
Don't get
addicted. Live a little.
A little bit. Churros or flan?
I'm not a flan person, so churros. All the way.
Yeah, I like the sugar stuff.
Yeah.
Everything we have on this list is so terrible for you, but man, it's so good to you. At least for your soul, maybe.
For your soul, definitely.
Valentina, Tapatio, Cholula, or Tabasco hot sauce?
Neither of them are hot enough for me, but I like the taste of Cholula.
What is the one hot sauce that you like?
I just like real salsa, and I'm like, if my
Homemade,
lips aren't
natural.
burning, like it's not hot enough.
So homemade natural sauces is the
Yeah,
ones you like too.
yeah, I like.
Like all these sauces are cool, but the Yucateco one that is like made out of habanero. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, that stuff is so freaking good
Yeah,
and fiery too.
yeah.
I know it's not natural, but man,
As long as the
it's
flavor is
good.
good,
It's
like
good.
I want some flavor. I don't want just like hot.
Just to be
Like some wings, it's like
nonsense hot.
flaming hot, like just chemical.
Nah,
Like,
I feel you on that too.
you know
Cause
what I mean?
like you like too much spicy. I'm like no, but it has a flavor to it.
Yeah,
It's
like this
good. It's
good. This
hot. It's not like
garlic. I'm
just
like,
nonsense picante. Like
yeah, agreed.
no, agree, 100%. Conchitas, the pastries, the white ones, the brown ones, or the pink ones.
Mm, I guess I usually eat the pink ones.
The pink ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Do you find it to have a little bit of a different flavor than the other ones? Have you ever caught yourself like kind of tasting that it's
To
different?
be honest, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I'm just like a conchas to me. I'm down.
So-
But like if I had to choose, I'm more of a pastry person, like
Yeah.
the ones with like the jelly in it, or
Yeah?
you know what I mean?
What is your very, very, very favorite pastry to go to?
Oh God, I don't even know the names, but anything like stuffed, anything like with sugar around it or like jelly in it. I love
My
stuff like that.
favorite donuts are the sugar donuts.
Yeah.
Not the powdered sugar either, the grainy sugar.
Like
I
the
like
real
those. Yeah,
sugar. Yeah.
I like
yeah,
them.
I know.
And I like bread too a lot.
I know. It's just
Yeah,
terrible.
that's-
Pastries are like my weakness.
For real?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, again,
So I stay away.
bad for your
I
health,
try-
but so good for
try
your
to stay
soul.
away.
So good for your soul. A conspiracy theory that you heard one time that as soon as you heard it, it's like, man, that has to be true. Ain't no way that's not true. There's really a strong possibility that could be true. What can that be?
I mean, sadly, every conspiracy I knew is kind of true now.
Really?
I mean, look at, they've kind of admitted to aliens, they've
Yep.
admitted to communication.
Yep.
So, I mean, really, the alien thing, I definitely believe that. I mean, we are not alone. If you still think we're alone, like you're asleep. I don't believe we're alone. So that's my belief.
You need what did you hear about the communication part? Maybe I missed it. I know that they acknowledged that there was some kind of something that they had something, but I know there was actual communication or heard anything.
So I don't know how deep you are into conspiracy. Do you follow Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Okay, so you follow his podcast too?
I hear it often.
So
yes.
there's a few people that he interviews on there that are pilots, with the United States Army, and they have proof. They tell their stories of, situations where they're in the sky and there's something not human. It's not a plane made, you know what I mean? It's going backwards, going forward, things that planes can't do. So just hearing their stories, it's just I just believe them. So
yeah,
there's no way. There's just no way.
I mean, you think about, we talked about this before, how whenever you think of the universe being infinite,
Yeah.
something that's infinite is like there's no ending to it. You can't even see it, and it's been here for billions of years.
Exactly, and it's like we're so awesome. Why would we be the only ones?
Yeah.
With this life, So.
And we always focus on water, and because that's how life became for us. But what's not to say that other elements, other environments where life was able to strive there.
Exactly.
Of course, they can't be here on Earth and whatever, but we can't be there either.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean they're not alive.
Yeah. So I truly believe we're not alone.
I believe that too.
So hopefully one day we'll get to see it before we leave this place.
Okay, what would you do if you like literally there in front of you, whatever it would be? Like, would you freak out?
So I don't know if you remember when that story was going on about like supposedly there was aliens in the mall.
Yeah.
You never know. I don't believe that they like, if they are, let's just say, they are real. I believe if they didn't want us here, I mean, it would be easy to take us out with what they probably have technology wise, So
we're safe for now.
I'm not fearful of them. So hopefully one day, we'll get to, and there's a whole like evolution of people like meditating and saying that they talk to aliens, that they can literally meditate and bring them to them, and then they'll have communication.
You were, I don't know if you were, whenever you were vegetarian or maybe just in general, did you ever practice any type of meditation?
I do. Yeah? I do. I'm not so religious, but spiritual for sure. Meditation is every day, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I believe it's good for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that too. I believe that too. when you first hear the word Latino, Latina, Latinx, what first comes immediately to mind?
Just my amazing culture.
Mhm.
I'm, being from Chuco Town, like I love it. There's still, even now, every Sunday there's a car show. You see the old school Pachucos come out, and it doesn't matter how hot it is outside, they are dressed to impress, head to
Yes,
toe. So I just love it. Hearing that, it just reminds me of like all the coolness of being
that's dope. Yeah, I do have a very strong uh, art and lowrider community in
It
El
is.
Paso, big
There's
time.
a lot of amazing artists in El Paso too. So
Yeah,
shout out to them.
yeah, yeah. I do have your own vibe, definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely, I do. Do you consider yourself Latina? Do you prefer being Chicana? Any terminology that you prefer more? Human being, not
No,
alien.
I mean, I love, I love being Latina. I love it. But at the same time, I'm not like offended if somebody miss says, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
not that crazy. We're
yeah.
all human, and I don't think it should be like a negative thing.
That's cool. All right,
So,
awesome. All right, so let's get to the interview part. So you're originally from El Paso. You were
mm-hmm,
born there.
mm-hmm.
Has your family always been in El Paso to your recollection, or did they make it from somewhere else to El Paso?
Both of my parents were born in El Paso, Texas. My grandparents on my dad's side, from Juarez. And then on my mom's side, I have my grandma from Mexico, and then my grandpa is actually from Kentucky.
Your grandpa is
Yeah.
güero,
Güero.
americano.
Yeah, güero. He just saw my grandma, fell in love with her, and they're
Wow.
two opposites. He spoke English, even up to, he passed away 2 years ago, rest in peace. But even up to then, he'd be like, "Why are you guys talking so much Spanish? Talk English."
In Kentucky.
And yeah, Kentucky. So he's tall, white, blue eyes, and my grandma's chaparrita braids, like like the grandma from Coco.
Straight up.
Straight Mexicana.
Yes, they're looking like freaking, what's that called?
It's
From Europe somewhere.
just totally different. But
That's
they were
cool.
very sweet to each other, so that it was nice to see growing up.
I'm very sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Was there
Thank you.
any of those genetics passed on that you have siblings or cousins that look just like güerito?
No, my mom is one of 9 kids, and
Mm-hmm.
she's the only one with red hair.
Red
Because we
hair.
have Irish. He's Irish.
Oh wow.
So I was like, oh my God, are my kids gonna have red hair?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, they didn't.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Man,
no,
that native blood is so strong.
it really
Only
is.
one of 9 came
One
out
of
with
9.
something.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it's crazy.
That's cool. Any of them ever share of your grandparents hear their story or how they got to the States by any chance, just like conversating?
My grandma was just kind of, struggling. She had to work, so she would, she lived in Juarez, and she would just cross the border to work, and that's kind of just how she did it until she met my grandpa, and he was like, "No, you're staying here." So, so yeah.
Okay. So how old were you when you made it to the Fort Worth area? How old were you?
So I've been here about 7, almost 8 years. I was 27 when I came over
Yeah.
here. I
That's
was
cool.
pretty much lived my whole life in El Paso.
El Paso. El
Hmm.
Paso. What is for you growing up in El Paso, the most cherished memories that you have, whether it be family, food, a place that you used to go? What would that be?
Yeah. Out there's not much. So my life was mostly at Wet and Wild, which is our one water park. Okay.
Wet and Wild.
Wet and Wild. And it's our one water park in the desert. And it's like the only place where you will see a lot of trees. It's like a little oasis in there. So it was just life. But, now that I'm older, I'm just like, it was just
Compared to everything that you see
you know
here.
what I mean? Like compared to the water parks here, it's kind of sad, but still, like you would go and you would just, they'd have grills, you just cook out, and the whole family would be there, and we would just be
Really?
there all day, like just all day. So that was just really good memories. But also just the food, all my family being there, all the cousins, just the familia vibe.
So
That's what I
that was
truly.
your hangout spot for everybody.
Yeah, I mean that was the only water park.
Did you do it like weekly? Was it a weekend thing every
yeah, you
weekend?
get the season passes, and we were just there all the
the time.
time.
That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. Hey,
because if you didn't have a swimming pool, you're just gonna be hot. You're gonna have a manguera outside with a sprinkler or something.
the manguera will be the host
Yeah, the hose, the
trying to
water
cool
hose.
down.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Okay, so when was it that the first introduction to tattooing? When did you started knowing that maybe this is something you wanted to do? Did you have any other things that you wanted to do as you were young? I don't know if you were into fashion or music or anything like that growing up.
I knew I was always into art. I was introduced to tattoos. My dad is a tattoo artist.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of sucks, but there's no, cameras back then. But he said that the first time I picked up a gun, I was like maybe 4.
Are you
And he
serious?
put me on his lap and I tattooed his friend. So, and I'm like, dang it, where's the cameras back then?
So at 4 years old, your
Yeah, I
dad
just
gave
did. And it
you.
wasn't probably anything crazy. I just like shaded a little part. But even after that, I remember being little and, back then you had to have a pedal.
Yeah.
Now they're all wireless, but back then, so he would be like tattooing and I would push the pedal for him. And then, when you dip into the ink, it can't be on. So like he would dip and I would like let it go. He would dip. And then as soon as he would like get back on the skin, I would like,
So you
and I'd
remember
just
that?
I would just be behind him, like making sure I'm like pushing the pedal for him. So those are like my first memories of being around. And that's when he was just tattooing in like a room. It wasn't a shop. It was very,
Yeah.
very old school. So that was my life for a long time. I grew up in a tattoo shop. We were one of like 3 tattoo shops in El Paso at the time.
If I'm not mistaken, y'all were one of the first ones.
Oh, like one of 3. I don't know exactly who's first, but yeah, it was like tattoo shops were barely opening up. So we
Yeah.
were one of 3. And I was pretty much there, growing up until I turned 16 and I moved with him and then I started working there.
You started working as an apprentice, of course, right?
My stepmom was the piercer there, so she actually trained me to take her place. And then I was pretty much working there as a piercer, shop manager, kind of helping my dad out.
So you, even then at that time, you already kind of sort of knew, you grew up into that lifestyle as far as the tattooing, the business side, as far as how to even manage the shop, and the piercing part, which a lot of the times now is like they go hand in hand.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. And at the time, I just thought I was like so cool doing it, because I mean, what 16-year-old is like handling the business and stuff like that. So I felt really privileged to be, in that experience, learning it and stuff like that. I didn't know then that I wanted to tattoo yet, just because I was like, okay, do I want to do this because my dad is doing this, or is this kind of my thing? So I did tattoo here and there, friends, but it wasn't serious at all. There was no like, path that I saw yet. I kind of got out of it for a little bit, started bartending, got used to that until one of my best friends opened up a tattoo shop, and he was like, "What are you doing? come manage the shop." So I quit my job. I started piercing for them and managing that shop, and that's how I started like my serious career.
Okay.
And that was probably about 10 years ago.
Okay. So at 16 years old, you start working with your parents, with your mom, with your stepmom and your dad, And at that time, is there anybody that maybe kind of criticized because you're supposed to be in school? Maybe
No, I was in school. I was.
So you were still doing school?
Yeah, I was in school. And then after school, I would just go to the shop and then work there. We'd close like about 9:30. So from that time to that time, I would work and then just go home.
Gotcha. Was there anything you were doing in school that was artistic or anything like that you liked?
To be honest, I wasn't the best at school.
So good.
We moved a lot. When I was younger, we moved. I went to like 4 different high schools, so many elementaries. So I kind of gave up trying to be like a part of a team, or because I just felt like I was never at a school long enough. Even, graduating, I didn't graduate normally. I ended up graduating from like a credit school where you like just do it on the computer and get your diploma. So yeah, there's really nothing I was doing in school. I just did not like school for some reason.
I don't think it's for everybody.
It's not. Yeah. And at the time, everybody looked down on you like, oh, go to school, go to college. And at the time, it was really hard to feel like I was making the right decision. But sometimes you just got to trust your instincts,
Okay, so when he tells you that he's opened up a shop and he wants you to manage, and you're working there, managing the shop and piercing, you're not tattooing yet, or maybe, I don't know if you're helping him out. What clicked to make you like, you know what? This is it. This is going to be the path for me now. And did you miss it when you were not doing it, when you were doing the bartending?
I did. I missed having a creative outlet. I really missed being able to. And when you tattoo, also you're kind of like a therapist. You spend hours with somebody just close to each other. So I've always been good at customer service. That's why bartending really came normal to me. But I did miss it. But even then, at bartending, I still wasn't like, I need to be tattooing. I wasn't just like there yet. So I think when I started taking it seriously, we started traveling, doing conventions, and I was just like, I was drawing a lot and stuff like that, you know? So one day he just looked at me. He was like, so when are we going to start tattooing? And I was like, you know what? And I was actually in Palm Springs at that time. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to start. And that day, I did a small tattoo and then I just didn't stop. And I just kept it super serious since then.
What was the small tattoo that you do for? Who was it for?
It was just a customer. I think it was like a cross or something. Oh, you know what? I'm totally lying. We were in Odessa, and I had a few clients. Shout out to Odessa. Um, yeah, I think it was like a little cross or something. And you know, it was nothing crazy, but I was like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do.
At that moment when you was already piercing, those thoughts were running through your mind.
Yeah.
This is it.
And then, you know, piercing, I'll always have that skill, but I was ready to move on from piercing.
Yeah. So you start going full blast, just doing the tattooing at that time.
Mm-hmm. We were doing a lot of conventions, traveling. You know, I got to do Baltimore. I got to see Hawaii twice doing the conventions out there. So beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, we did like San Antonio, and so it was just a great experience. And being able to travel too, like it just really opened my eyes to a lot, and it was a good feeling. So
yeah. What was the best favorite? Well, besides Hawaii, what other place was a favorite for you that you kind of were surprised that it was one of your favorites?
So fast forwarding a little bit, me and my husband actually did a little tattoo tour in Europe, and that was pretty life changing. So
it's Europe,
yeah, we started in Barcelona, and then we went to France and then Switzerland.
France and Switzerland. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, Europe is awesome too.
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, it was totally like a culture shock too, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so you're right in regards to the tattooing as far as the therapy, because you're not the only one. I had another tattoo artist with a tattoo shop that talked about those things. Mm-hmm. Even talked about maybe even doing a podcast as he's tattooing just to have the talk. What was some of the most impactful stories? Not to give the people away or the person, but some of the stories that you have.
So I've actually had somebody that came in, their brother passed away and they wanted to get every tattoo that their brother had. Really? Exactly to the T. Really? You know? So it's almost hard to, you know, mimic somebody else's because obviously the styles were different. So I had to kind of mimic other styles that was a little bit old school, but you know, it was so impactful to her. You know, I could tell that she was crying through and one of them, and we did them in different sessions, and one of them was this small, and still it was just so sentimental to her. So just anything like that. And you know, a lot of people look at tattoos as ink therapy. So they come and they literally just release all, you know, everything that, you know, they've been waiting for. And even if the tattoo has nothing to do with how they're feeling, it's just the therapy of like getting
what do you think it is that happens? Is it the pain? Is it the fact that they can't run away anywhere and they just have to kind of sort of like face it right there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some people really do just enjoy that I think shift of like awareness, because once you're focused on the pain, you're really just focused on what's happening right here, you know? So I do think it gives some people like a release. And, you know, there's I would say 95% of my clients are like, I couldn't wait for this day. Like, I'm finally here. Like, I just love it here. Like, this is a good vibe, you know? And that's luckily awesome. I've been blessed to have, you know, amazing clients. Like each one of my clients were just like this. So
that's awesome.
Thankful for that.
So whenever that particular person comes to you with something like that, you know, of course, what are your first thoughts? Because, you know, you have to do a great job because you know what they're doing it for, and it's very important to them because of what happened.
Mm-hmm. You know, being a tattoo artist, you really have to have confidence because this is something you're forever on somebody, and unfortunately, there's a lot of tattoo artists that don't care. You know, there's so many cover-ups that I've done, and just even memorial pieces that just were done terribly, and you know that sucks. Imagine going to get something meaningful and then it's just trash.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course.
So I enjoy it and I appreciate the trust, and I'm thankful that they trust me to do that for them. You know?
For people like that not the artist, people are gonna be what they're gonna do. Right. Whether they're gonna be bad business or not. For as far as a client is looking, they never got a tattoo, they're looking for a shop, they're looking for a place, a person. What would you recommend them for them to look for as far as that they're reliable, they're gonna deliver on what they say,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trustworthy people, even though they might just not know. But in their search, what do they
Yeah.
need to look for?
So I tell people this all the time. You can go into a shop and just because there's licenses on the wall, when you get a tattoo license, there's no art test. They
Mm.
come and inspect that the building is good enough to tattoo and clean enough. So I tell people sometimes that gives people confidence, like, oh, this is a legit shop. They have a license. But everyone could suck in that place. So, I'm telling you, so the license means
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nothing. Like it does mean they pass inspection, but
The thing that you told me that clicked that it never clicked on my head was like, just because you had the license doesn't mean you took a drawing a drawing test.
there is no type of test. They don't ask you nothing. There's nothing. They don't ask you, have you ever picked up a tattoo machine before? Nothing.
You crazy?
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I tell people that just first off, don't be impressed by the way it looks because that could be nothing. Second, I would say look at healed work. You want to see their tattoo, 2 years later, are they posting what it looks like after the peeling and stuff like that? Because there's even a Instagram page that kind of calls out tattoo artists, like famous tattoo artists,
Really?
for their tattoos not healing great. And there's a lot of top notch artists on there. And day of the tattoo looks amazing, and then they'll post like a picture of it, a year healed, and it's like not the same tattoo.
What is
And
it?
this is
What is the
and
name of the page?
no.
What? It's an Instagram, right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
find
it's
it,
an
right?
Instagram page. Oh my god, I don't know it off the top of my head. I can send it to you guys, but
Yeah, send it to
yeah,
us.
I'll send it to you. But it's pretty, it's terrible, especially that these people probably paid like $4,000
So
for that
what is
tattoo.
okay? Even though they're really good, and the first day looks really great, what are
Yeah.
they missing that they're not? They don't make it last. What are their technique that is not?
Sometimes they're just not like going. Like let's just say with color, for example, color. It's a very slow and like process to saturate. It has to be saturated very slowly. So if somebody's kind of just like running through something and putting the right darks so that it looks good, right then, like you really can't as a client, you really don't know what's the difference between a dark gray and then a black. Like, you know what I mean? They don't
Yeah,
know. They're just like, "Oh, I love it." And then so you really can't know. You really just have to do research on, field. And then also, third, I would say, try to talk to the artist because there's so many people like, I ask people, so what made you choose me out of, everybody in Dallas? And they're just like, you know what, you actually spoke to me like a human being. I didn't feel like I was wasting your time. You wrote back, not in 2 weeks, you let me know. And even if you were busy, you let me know, like, I'll get back to you. So a lot of people tell me, like, it was just the fact that you spoke to back to me, you gave me respect, and you made me feel like you cared about what I wanted. It wasn't just about the money or because
yeah.
sometimes you walk in and they're just like, okay, well, I charge this, so email me or sometimes they don't hear back. Or I've heard stories of famous artists, even here in Dallas, that they're just like, they were so rude to me. They're like, I went wanting a tattoo and they just like they'll either just not even acknowledge them in the shop as they're sitting
Yeah.
there, or by the time they do, it's just like, what do you want?
Ego is a hell of a drug.
Ego,
It's a hell of a drug.
So So yeah, I would say just fill it after you do the facts on, the work. If the work's good, just meet them. And if you don't feel a good vibe, just walk away.
Okay, so we kind of sort of gave a little bit of it, but uh, and it kind of sort of their red flags a little bit. But
Yeah.
what is three solid red flags for sure that you just like immediately you can catch them like, oh, nope, I
Three
gotta go.
solid red flags. If the shop is by a bar and you walk in and you want something, like you're for sure getting it from an apprentice.
Oh wow.
For sure. I mean, there's a chance that there's somebody open, but 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that's learning, that's sitting there waiting for somebody to walk in so they could keep learning. And they're not going to be like, hey, I'm an apprentice. They're just going to do it. And half of the time, people, there's a lot of people that want tattoos like sporadically, like today, I need a heart right here.
Well, they got drunk.
Or that's the worst, which it's
And
like
made it to
that's
the
kind of
shop.
your fault. You're
It
drunk,
is.
like you signed the paper.
It is.
But I would say that's a not a red flag towards the artist because everybody has to start somewhere. But to somebody who's looking for a quality tattoo, like don't just walk into
Boom.
the shop.
That's one.
Two. I mean, if they're not smiling at you as soon as you're sitting down, if they're just like, okay, no, yeah, have a seat. They're not into you doing your tattoo. It's probably gonna come out like shit. Like, if there's a bad vibe and you're not like I'm all about the vibe. So if, I've had a client tell me that she went to get a tattoo, and he wasn't talking to her. He wasn't really making anything cool or anything like that, and she ended up just not really liking that tattoo. And it wasn't like a bad tattoo, but you can tell there's just no love in it.
I think it's like for people you were telling me earlier that like can't wait to go to a tattoo. Is the experience itself
It's
too,
the
right?
experience, yeah.
Yeah.
So for those people, it's like you get what you pay for. If you're not even asking like, hey, how long have you been tattooing, and you're getting a tattoo, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, I tell people cover ups are way more expensive. So just really think about it.
Why are they more expensive? Because it's more ink and more
It's
room that you have to
just
take.
it's depending on what it is. It just takes more saturation, more color, and it also may take like another session to, like I just did. She had an alien, black outline alien with like green and red, and just the black outline was so dark, and you can tell they just like did it so hard,
Went in
like
deep.
scarred. Yeah, I went in deep that the black that I had to use, like I had to really go over, and I might still have to go over it like one more time just to make
Wow.
sure it doesn't like pop out when it heals.
Mm.
So, and it hurts more. It's like you're going over, especially if you're scarred, we're going over scar tissue, and we have to be more, pack it more because we're trying to cover. So it hurts more. It's more expensive, takes a little bit longer because we have to be like sensitive with the skin. So it's all around just not going to be the best experience.
Yeah. Okay. So with two flags, now third one. What will be the third one? The last one.
Third
There could be
one.
more, but we're just going with
Yeah, yeah,
three.
yeah. We're just gonna go with three. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think the licensing part. You don't. I guess I don't know. I'm just guessing, but just don't get fooled by like the pretty look of the shop. Could, like you said,
Yeah.
might suck.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a red flag counts,
Uh
but this
huh.
is something going on right now. There is a lot of people out there booking clients
Uh
and saying
huh.
like, "Okay, well, you need to send me your deposit. I'll be at this shop." And they'll kind of act like they're from out of town. And sometimes they steal other people's work and just put it on their page. They'll get the deposit, and then the client will show up to the shop and they'll be like, "We don't know that person."
So
Like a
there's
scam. Scammers going on.
scammers that you so you really have to call and talk to somebody to.
Yeah, like you really have to know who you're if you haven't been following this person for a while, or you know what I mean? You really have to be careful because now that's a thing that's coming up now.
You
They're
started very
taking
seeing it for the
I
what
did. Mhm.
for the past what 2 years, 3 years,
No, no,
last
I would
year.
say this year, like I just started seeing it grow. Some people like, hey, I follow a lot of groups on Facebook, tattoo groups
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So I've
Mm-hmm.
seen a few people like, hey, I almost sent this deposit, then found out that this person's not even coming here, or it was a fake page. So
Ouch.
people are sending deposits and then just like showing up to their appointment and they're like, we don't know who you're talking about. There's nobody working here of that name.
Okay, what are your thoughts on shops that when you call, they don't even want to give you a quote. They want you to go to the place to walk in there to be
Yeah.
able to get some type of number for you to know.
So it's a business strategy.
Yeah.
Once you're there, you're probably 70% chance you're going to just get the
So you
tattoo.
committed to drive over
But it just
there.
depends what kind it is, though, too. Because I mean, let's just say somebody wants an 8-hour piece. That's not something you can just, okay, come here, I'm going to do it now. Especially if you're booked and stuff like that. So it's kind of a business strategy. I don't think it's, especially nowadays, like we have so much going on. Not everyone has time to just stop at the shop. So for me, I try to give the best estimates as I can. Most people DM me, and if they need a virtual consultation, I'll do it to make them feel more comfortable. But I don't see a problem with giving an estimate.
Yeah.
I mean, why not prepare somebody for what they're gonna pay?
Okay. What are your thoughts on numbing cream, and what is your story behind that?
Okay. For the record, I've used it. I've even tried. One of my friends had what is the shots, like the numbing stuff that they use like at the dentist and stuff?
Oh,
Lidocaine.
lidocaine.
So she actually had
What?
lidocaine shots, and I actually tried it. I wouldn't recommend it. I personally don't like numbing cream because, for one, you have to gunk it on, okay, and then you wrap it. So if you have sensitive skin, it's gonna make your skin raw and like soggy. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Mm-hmm.
is already gonna mess up your skin for the tattoo. Your tattoo's already not gonna heal right
Mm.
because your skin's already like tripping.
Oh.
So, and then the only way I would say okay is if it's a little tattoo, but then it's like, it's a little tattoo. Why are you numbing yourself? You know? So I'm just like, especially if clients come to me and it's their first tattoo, oh no, you're feeling it. It's like getting
Yeah.
jumped into the community, you know? You can't,
Get a jump there.
you cannot get a tattoo and you're not going to feel it. There's no way. So all of my first time clients, I'm like, no, ma'am, you better get something smaller because we're not going to numb you. So
Yeah.
I think that's just fair. Like, you just have to know what it feels like. On top of the fact that numbing cream only lasts maybe 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. And then, if you're doing a 6 hour piece, by the time that numbing goes out, you're gonna feel the burn,
Everything.
the soreness, and then you're gonna tap out.
Thank you so much for being here today and checking out this amazing episode. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment and a like. And now back to the episode.
Okay, so for you, it's more of like the skin is not the nice
The
canvas,
health, the health.
canvas that you
Yeah.
wanted for you to work on.
Mhm.
Because you feel like you're just not gonna give you the results that you're accustomed to doing
Yeah.
for people that don't use the numbing cream.
Mhm. And if they want to use it, I just let them know they have to buy it, they have to put it on, and I just warn them there's a risk that it might affect the way your tattoo heals. I do have a numbing gel that is for open pores that I'll use maybe like the last hour of my tattoo. When I know I maybe have to jump around and it's gonna get a little uncomfortable, so I'll numb them so that I know I have an hour to just go ham where, and I know they're going to be comfortable. So
Okay.
that doesn't affect the skin just because I feel like the skin is already open. So it
Mm.
actually helps the swelling go down a little bit.
Okay, so the cream and the gel are two different things. Because
Mhm.
normally the cream,
It's for unopened pores.
and you have to read the instructions because you have to
Please.
apply it like what, with almost an
There's
hour
there's
right
different.
before?
Yeah, some are 30, some are an hour, and then they last different. Like the time is different. So please read it. And I would always say to do a patch test. Just put it somewhere else, maybe for 30 minutes, and just see, is there redness? Is there irritation?
Make sure you're not allergic to
Make
it.
sure you're not allergic, and then I would say use it like that.
And then the gel, does the gel automatically kicks in? Is that
Yeah. So
different?
I'll saran wrap it for maybe 2-3 minutes, and and my clients will be like, "Oh my god, I don't feel anything."
Why didn't you tell me about this
I know,
before?
and I honestly I don't mention it until I'm
Until-
like, "Hey, I'm gonna hook you up with some stuff real quick," and sometimes I don't tell them, and they're just like, "Hey, I feel good," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know, dude."
My the gentleman that Good Pain
Yeah.
tattoo and on Grand Prairie, I had him and his daughter. They were telling me stories about the numbing creams. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. it
But
is.
yeah, that for them is whatever, right? But I like that part of like for you personally, just the skin might just not look.
Yeah, yeah. I want the tattoo to have the best chance at healing correctly.
Yeah.
So like I said, if they want to use it, I'm like, you put it on. I don't want to touch it. That's your choice. And I only have one bad story with that.
Okay.
And
Can you
I have
share?
yeah. So I have a client that I tattoo. She's great, takes it great. She brought me her daughter. Her daughter wanted a snake around her ankle, which is painful. And I was like, okay, no, we're gonna just keep the snake in the front because
Mhm.
and she was very nervous, very, very nervous, like pacing, very nervous, not like a normal. Usually when people come, they're ready to relax.
Did she had a fear of needles by any
No,
chance?
she had tattoos,
Oh,
which if it
wow.
was her first tattoo, I would have told her like we're definitely not doing that. But and she even had one right here, which the rib is a pretty sensitive area. So I was like, okay, no,
Yeah.
that's cool. She knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, immediately she had it wrapped. She said for like 2 hours already. I already knew
It's already over.
it's a done.
Yeah.
And I knew her skin was already gonna not be great, but I was like, hey, let's just do it. So as I started, yeah, she was just dying. She was asking me to like numb this part while I was doing the bottom and then like switch. And it healed terrible. And so I pretty much told her we're gonna have to redo the whole thing, and she has not came back.
That was a long time ago.
Maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
She did not come back. So I told her, don't worry, girl, we'll do it. We'll do it good next time. But yeah, she has not came back. So
Do you ever turn away people that go into your shop? You have the vibe is good, everything's great, but as soon as you start, I don't know. Carter's clipped a little thing where the guy was little Caucasian boy was getting a tat and he was freaking the hell out like how much he was hurting.
Oh
I
my
don't know if you've seen the
God.
video.
Yep.
Have you ever had where everything seemed to be great, the vibes and everything, but as soon as you started putting the needle to the skin, is like, oh,
I have a really good client from Italy. I've tattooed his arms and everything. I did one on his leg, and he just immediately knew he regretted it. I could feel, I'm like this,
You
so
can feel the skin
no, I
moving.
could feel his leg just tense up, like just tense. And I was like, "Are we okay?" And he was just like, I don't know how long I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to do this. I was like, okay, let's just do the outline, and luckily it wasn't a lot. It's just that a part of it had like red, which is a lot of saturation, and yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't finish it. And he's like, I don't care to finish it. I'm happy with it like this. I'll never get a tattoo on my leg again.
Is it okay? So the rib, the collarbone, um, I've seen a lot of people with face tattoos and
hmm
leg. Now you telling me, what do you think for you, as far as your experience, is the most painful place to get a tattoo?
Definitely like the feet, the knuckles, like in between the
By the
fingers.
way, all her
Yeah,
stuff is like,
yeah,
you could
yeah.
take some paint. Jesus.
Yeah, this one's pretty in there.
Yeah.
So those are just because it's bone, you can hear like so it's but to be honest, I tell everybody don't judge pain off someone else's experience because I've met people that are like, "Oh yeah, I have my whole back tatted. It didn't even hurt." And then I'll get to know them and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've broke my leg like 3 times." You know what I mean?
So
Their
their
pain
pain tolerance is
tolerance,
so high,
yeah, their
not even
life has
comparable.
given them a different pain tolerance. So I tell people it just depends on your life because I know people who say that the tattoo hurt more than birth. Some lady told I was like, "No way. No way." So it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, like,
Yeah, I was like, "You must have been really drugged up because there's no way that this hurts more."
yeah,
So,
it's just so crazy how each individual is just a little bit different as far as sensitive
mhm.
to pain or the placement of the tattoo. All that
Yeah. Mhm.
are factors as far as like if it's gonna hurt or not. Have
Mhm.
you ever turned anybody away that you just were not able to work with them whatsoever?
No.
Just didn't work out.
Mm-mm. Thankfully, I've had I mean, if anything, maybe there's a few people that I feel like they get a lot of anxiety, trying to make a decision because it's forever. So
Mm-hmm.
they're asking a million questions and then sometimes it'll be like a 2-day conversation of back and forth ideas and then they'll just be like, "You know what? I'm just going to wait." So even then that's not
Mm.
me turning them away, but it's just some people just can't make up their mind.
I mean, it
And
shows that you're not really wanting to. Of course, I'm sure you want to get paid for your work, but you're not trying to push them into getting something just for the
no,
money,
mm-mm.
just for the money's
And
sake.
even if like they show up to the appointment and I feel like they're still not, I'll just be like, "You know what, let's just reschedule."
Hmm.
Just so that we know for sure.
Yeah.
But luckily, I usually understand what they want and I can usually represent it pretty good.
What is the weirdest place that you made a tattoo? The strangest place?
Um, I mean, I guess it's not strange, but this girl just got her boyfriend or whatever he was named just right over all her
A
area,
middle area.
and just all over the area. And I was even tattooing her like, "Are you, are you sure you want this?" And he was the type that was like standing right there, making sure I didn't like. I don't know what he thought was gonna happen, but I just felt it was kind of uncomfortable because I was almost like, is he just making her get this tattoo? So,
That's
I don't know if
commitment.
that was like yeah, for one, it's like a strange place, but then the awkwardness that came with doing the tattoo, I was just like, "Oh god, I just wanna be done."
Yeah. How long did that take? That tattoo?
It took about an hour and a half
Yeah.
just to because she did, like, some cursive, and then we were, like, filling it in a little bit. And then, I mean, this area is, like, sensitive, so she would kinda, like, twitch and I was just like and then her boyfriend was just standing right there, like I'm like, "Do you wanna finish the tattoo or what?"
Really?
Yeah, there's
And
some
what was your husband at that time?
Oh, we hadn't met yet. I
Yeah.
was I was still in El
Oh,
Paso.
really?
Yeah, I was, in the shop.
Wow. Okay. Would you ever not tattoo somebody? Like, for example, some people might not just tattoo your face because it's just something that they don't want to do. Is there something that or a particular tattoo that you would just not do for people?
I don't think I would do like a Nazi tattoo or something
You would
like
never
that.
do
I don't
anything
know.
like
I
that.
mean, I guess if I like knew, I don't know. I don't, that's what I'm saying now because I haven't been put in that position. But
Yeah,
maybe like a super demonic one too. I don't know if I would do it.
it's just not your vibe, not your
Yeah,
thing.
no, it would have to be like super artistic, cool. But if it was like on some weird like I don't know. If I felt like it was like some weird magic stuff that there,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't do it. I'm not really into messing with energies that are not good for me.
There's some weird stuff you might not understand. You don't know what
You
could
know what I
happen.
mean? I'm just like, I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
I don't know what all these symbols mean.
But I don't want none of them.
Yeah, no.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. So you
Okay.
left El Paso. You were with the shop. I don't know why you decided to move on to Fort Worth. Was that you were done there? Did it played out or what
No
happened?
particular reason. I was just, I had already been traveling, doing conventions, so I feel like my mind was just like, what else is there, you know? It was really hard. Shout out to Ink and Iron out in Chuco Town. It was a great experience working there, but my sister was in Atlanta at the time, and we were kind of just both wanting something new, you know?
Yeah.
My mom at the time was in Kentucky, so I thought Dallas is right in the middle of everything. And then, I met my husband, he lived here. So it just felt like everything was pulling me to move here. And then once I moved here, my sister moved here, my mom moved here, and then she takes care of my grandparents. So they moved here. So, everything just kind of.
Was it Dallas that you ended up first, or was it
Oh,
Fort Worth?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
I have to remember that they're not
Oh,
the same. The first time, the first time I came over here to a club, I remember somebody asked me that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm from Dallas," and they're just like, "Where?" And then I said, the area, and they're like, "Oh no, you're from Fort Worth," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah," and they're like, "Oh no, girl, it's not the same," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry."
It's not the
I was
same.
like, but it's true because it's not like if you live in Las Cruces, New Mexico, you can't say I'm from El Paso. It's not the same.
It's
So
not the same.
I
Oh, so you have that same thing too over
yeah,
there for them?
I understand, so because there's some people will just even like Sunland Park, New Mexico is right there, across the railroad. So it seems like it's right there, but it's not the
Oh,
same.
let me say this.
Yeah,
They both different. They both have their own vibe.
very different.
Recently, I've been hanging around a lot more in Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
Fort Worth's got his own chill,
Yeah.
own identity, own thing they have going on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Even more of like a Texas type of feeling
Yeah.
compared to Dallas. Dallas is just a different thing.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
some people do take it more prideful that they're from Dallas compared to Fort Worth. But Fort Worth people are very proud too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Both
got,
sides.
I'm telling you, they got their own stuff going on over there too.
Yeah.
The people are friendly. They got their own stuff going on. They always have things going on. The city's growing beautifully, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the people involved in growing are, shout out to the Hispanic Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce because a lot of them are involved in a lot of things going on because
Yeah.
they do amazing things over there. So to each their own.
Yeah.
But it's the same feeling for both sides.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I get
people
it.
feel the same thing about
Yep.
Dallas, but it just, we're Texas.
I just had to hear it once, and I was like, got it.
Got it.
Noted.
Never again.
Never do that again.
Okay, so when you get here, so you meet your husband over there and you come here?
So I actually met him at a convention in Midland, I believe. I was still living in El Paso.
Yeah.
And we talked for a while before I moved over here. So by the time I moved over here, we were already together, everything.
That's cool. What's his name?
His name is Tip. His IG is Mr. Tip Tattoos. You guys can look him up.
Salvadoreño.
Salvadorian, yes,
Salvi.
sir.
All right, what's up? That's what's up. Okay, so when you get here, you already immediately start tattooing. Your
Yeah.
clientele's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you go about trying to network with people, meet people, and get clientele? How does that work for you?
It was really hard, when I first moved over here, he kind of would tell me like, "Hey, it's okay. I have a lot of clients I can send to you."
Mm-hmm.
But once I got here, he does super realism. So I had to realize that, if somebody wrote him for a tattoo, they were looking for his style, and it wasn't going to be so easy to do that. So I really had to figure out how to do that. But I would just, go to the malls. I would pass out cards. I mean, I have tattoos. So there's so many times that people are like, "Hey, I like your tattoos." And then I'm like, "Oh, I do tattoos." Till this day, that's like the best way I get clients. I have clients that are like, "Yeah, one time you just gave me your card at a store randomly and it's been 3 years, but
So
hey,
you be
here
out
I
in the
am."
trenches, just
Yeah,
passing
yeah.
your
You
card
need
out.
to, yeah, if you're going to move from a city, you need to get out there and meet the people because
Hit the ground running.
word of mouth is going to be the best thing you can have.
Referrals.
Referrals or review. And then, doing more tattoos. It's like, "Hey, I gave your card to 3 people today." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody who's recommended me. I love you guys.
Awesome. Okay, so now you've been focusing a lot more as far as the tattoos. Like your focus currently is on tiny tattoo courses that you've been doing, right? Tell me
Yeah,
about
well, I
that.
do a wide variety of tattoos, but I have started this tiny tattoo seminar course. There's a lot of people right now kind of a lot of permanent makeup artists switching into tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
or even just people getting into the industry. You know what I mean? They have to start small. Line work is just a must. So I thought it would be really cool to be able to share that with people and give them the first steps into tattooing.
That's awesome. So when did the backtrack a little bit more? When did you finally, you and your spouse decided to go into and open up your own place, your own private shop that y'all can work out of?
We immediately already had like one of those little rooms and like one of those big salon suite
Mhm.
places. But then we just decided we need something bigger. So now we have and it's actually a really cool spot. It's they're these like box office warehouse suites, and they're made from the shipping containers,
Oh yeah,
and they're all stacked on top of each other like different colors, and there's a bunch of art all over and stuff. So we
that's
really
cool.
love the area. They're the material is just really hot in the summer.
Yeah, I'll make
That's
imagine.
the only negative thing, but I absolutely love our studio. We will be moving soon, probably to something a little bigger, so we'll stay tuned for that. But
Awesome.
we opened that one maybe I think it was 2020, and we've been there since in
Since
that studio, yeah,
since that
since
studio.
2020. But before that, we just had like different rooms that we would rent. During COVID, we had even one that was super small, and we could only work in there one at a time. So definitely started from the bottom, and it's definitely been growing.
How did it go for you for COVID? Because yeah, technically we're not essential workers or whatever
Yeah.
they call them.
To be honest, we were a little bit scared, but there was so many people that had time off that hadn't had time off in so long. So we have an office in our house, and we just turned that into the studio. And we had a lot. We even had a 49er come to our house to get tatted.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, we were blessed, but a lot of our clients that just never have time off were like, "Hey, I'm off for COVID. Are you guys tattooing?" And in the beginning, we were like, "No, we're not doing anything." But then
Mhm.
once, it started getting out that it wasn't as serious as it was, or whatever the case may be, we kept it really, one person at a time and stuff like that.
Was there
But
any protocols, temperature checking, mask
I
on, and all
mean,
this stuff?
most of them we knew, so we're just like, please be honest. If
You
we
freaking
have kids,
coughing, stay at
yeah,
the
like don't
house.
come over coughing, but still we would wear masks and try to keep it as. And that room was in the front of the house, so it's like there wasn't no, you know what I mean. It was just all in the front of the house, so
Hmm.
it kind of worked out for us, thankfully.
What do you mean about a 49er? Was it like a
No,
player?
the football player,
Like
yes,
an actual
an
player?
actual
How did he
player.
find y'all?
Oh, my husband tattoos him, and he just found him through his art.
Yeah?
And when he hit us up, we were like, you know what? We're tattooing at the house, and he was like, I don't mind. He brought his wife, and
Does he live here in
he's over here from Dallas. I mean,
uh,
obviously, he's not here a lot just from being, playing and stuff, but he's from Dallas.
that's dope.
Yeah.
Any other celebrity stories that you have that you tattoo?
Mostly it's my husband with the celebrities.
Mm.
But I'm trying to think.
Any famous people that you ran into that did tattoos by any chance? Or maybe you just ran into the conventions.
Yeah, at the conventions, you'll see, everybody from Ink Masters. You'll see a bunch of,
Yeah.
artists from Europe. You'll see, so there's a lot of people. I follow there's a really good artist from Dallas. Her name's Deanna. I follow her, and we were just at the New York convention, and she did like this whole leg sleeve in one first place, and so it's like you get to
Yeah.
see a lot of greatness in one room. So at those places, you definitely see a lot of famous artists and stuff like that.
So your husband seemed to be very accomplished
Yeah,
as far as what he
mhm.
does.
He's got 20 years tattooing.
20 years
He's got
tattooing.
some time on me, and he's really amazing.
And do y'all go still to the conventions? Do you like that? Do you enjoy
So right
going out?
now we're super parents, so we haven't been able to
Mm,
travel as much, but our kids are getting to an age where it's probably start traveling a little bit
yeah.
more.
Do you like those? Do you like to go to the conventions and be part of it and just be in the environment?
I do. It's a great environment, especially if you're trying, because a lot of people ask me like, what's the point of a convention,
Yeah.
And you're really either going to win an award or, just make some money, or just kind of put your brand out there a little bit more. So especially like the conventions here, it's good to like go meet people and stuff like that. But if you're going to travel, I tell a lot of artists it's a hit or miss. I just tell them don't do conventions if you're like struggling for money, because there's a chance that it could be a slow show. You never know. And then, so I definitely tell people don't travel just like
Yeah.
with no plan B, because sometimes it's a little bit hard that way. But it's a good experience, and I think every artist should try it out.
Yeah. Like, I've never been to one, but And yeah, it was the point. Of course, networking
Yeah.
does help a lot,
Mhm.
making connections, but I didn't know that you could actually even make money from the convention
Yeah, yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Like talking about just tattooing on the spot.
Yeah, there's some
Really?
people that are taking walk-ins there, and then, for the people who are trying to win an award, they usually have appointments already set up because they'll probably do like they'll tattoo somebody, same person for 3 days, do like a big piece or
Yeah.
so that's usually how it
What is the
goes.
longest session that you had to do for a actual tattoo?
The longest I've done, I think was about 9 hours.
Jeez,
Yeah.
in one sitting?
And I mean, we take breaks and
Yeah, of
stuff,
course. Yeah,
but yeah.
here it breaks, but still 9 hours.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it a back tattoo? Was it a sleeve? What was it?
It was a back. I
Yeah.
have like a whole mandala back piece on this girl, this client of mine, and we were like, let's just. I was like, you tell me when you're done, and she was just down to keep going. So we just did as much as we could until I could see. There's a certain point where you could see the skin is like no longer wanting to work with you, you know.
Yeah.
So once I saw that, I'm like, okay, girl, we're gonna cut the session right here.
You had sent me a few questions because I asked you about, and
hmm
totally forgot to transfer them over to my
No, you're good.
iPad. But there was a few of them that you had in regards to the things that you wanted to talk about a little bit towards, as far as of course, the tiny tattoo seminars and things that you're doing now, which is great.
hmm
But as far as the moving to the city to pursue your dream,
hmm
like, of course, it's tough and everything else. But was there any hesitation at all whatsoever? You were just like, I'm gone. This is where I need to be
I
now.
mean, there's always, for anybody that's wanting to move, I feel like there's always that, like, what if I don't make it? Especially if you're trying to be self-employed. I mean, it's easier to move if you can get transferred and stuff like that. You just start over, But specifically speaking to like people who want to be self-employed, it's super scary not knowing what can happen, not knowing if you're going to get clients, But I just feel like it's important for if you're thinking about moving, like it's
Yeah,
because it's probably for you
yeah.
so I feel like I would hope to inspire people to just kind of go for it. And of course, you know what I mean, there's people that tell me like, I have kids, I can't just do that, so there's a way for everybody, but I would definitely say it's good to at least travel and see what else is out there, what other opportunity you would have, because I feel like it's always successful. Everybody that's ever moved or anything like that is always
Hmm.
like, you know what, I can't believe I didn't do it sooner, or and especially coming from a small town like El Paso, a lot of people just kind of get stuck there. There's so many people who have never left, or and there's not a lot to do. The drinking scene is pretty big, so a lot of people kind of just get caught up in having fun and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I think for me, I just wanted to kind of expand a little bit more.
that's great. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the shop. Do you have a particular name for the shop, a brand that you push in regards to that you're known for? Or is there, well, of course, the
Um,
name of the shop, but is that something that you just want to keep
yeah,
pushing?
yeah, Ink and Beauty, we
Ink
came
and
up with
Beauty.
that just because I do offer permanent makeup too. There's like another side of the tattooing that I offer, so it was kind of like half and half, Beauty and the Beast, him and her type of thing. So that's where we came up with that name, and we kind of pushed that
You
in the
remember when you came up with the name?
I mean, so our shop, the shop I was at in El Paso was Ink and Iron. So I didn't like do that on purpose, but when it came out, it was just like, yeah, that's it. you know?
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, let's call it that because our LLC was actually Vida Mia Tattoo Studios.
What is it called?
Vida Mia.
Vida
And that was
Mia.
kind of, him when he was alone and what our shop was before we opened this one. So then, we really kind of wanted to just bring what we both do into a shop. And that's kind of where we came up with that.
So his stronger suit is the
Yeah.
tattooing, the life, you said
hmm
murals,
hmm
and yours is a lot more of the beauty
Yeah.
areas. So what are other services that you provide? Because you were telling me about other services in the shop that you're able to provide, which
hmm
Ink and Beauty is great.
Yeah. Thank
You know, it just
you.
really sums up
yeah.
everything that
Yeah. It
you
does.
do.
Right.
But in regards to the services, if
hmm
anybody was to find you, look for you, and talk to you, what all the things that you offer?
So I offer eyebrow tattoos, the permanent makeup, and there's a lot of different techniques and ways that it can be done, which I do all of them. I also do the lip blushing, which is pretty much a little. It adds like a tint over your lip, and those both
I know all
last.
about it.
Yeah, got it.
Nah,
Those
just kidding.
last about 2 to 3 years for some
Wow.
people. And then I offer non-injection lip fillers.
Which ones?
They're pretty much they're lip fillers for somebody who doesn't want to go under the needle. It's pretty much a pressurized pen that creates pressure that will shoot like the filler in, and it pretty much stays on the like higher levels of the epidermis, so it doesn't go as deep as like I don't know if you've ever seen lip fillers, but the needle's going in there.
I've seen horror stories of those.
There's horror stories,
like
of
a
course.
cartoon type of situation.
Yeah, I know it can be really bad. But
how long does those last? Those fillers?
So if you do it consistently, they can last anywhere from 4 to really it depends on you and how you heal, but it could go 3 to 6 months without needing a touch up. I have a client that was super consistent for a whole year, and now I just have to see her once a year because we've like built to that.
Wow.
So lip filler is about building. So that's a little bit more technical, but I do offer that. I would like to offer eyeliner too in the future, but like I said, I'm trying to just stay focused on what I have.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, in the future, I would love. It would be amazing to be able to have like a salon side of the shop, and then the tattoo side. Because even even SMP, it's like more. I don't want to say more professional, but it's more like medical. It's more so. I guess in the future we would like to have a small separation between that, but for now we're just keeping it.
So the reason why you're here is because you are friends with Erica Martinez, Martinez from Fort Worth SMP, and that's how we ended up connecting.
Yes.
So you actually also do SMP scalp micropigmentation.
Yes. Yeah, I took her class.
Yeah, what made you want to? Where did you find her? Did you find her, and that's the reason why you wanted to do it?
So she actually was when she just opened up. She was working 2 or 3 doors down from us.
Oh wow!
And I remember when she just started, she was a little bit nervous. Like, I don't know if this is gonna go well. And I was like, Erica, you're doing amazing already. Like, stop. So once she moved there and opened up, the clinic, I was like, girl, you're killing it.
Yeah.
So shout out to her. And it's always, and honestly, it's the after for me, when she, even in her interview, she talked about, what it does for people. And I just, I love that. Even, me for eyebrows, it's the same. I've tattooed clients who maybe went through cancer or just plucked them in the Chola era and they don't have anything, and then the confidence that, eyebrows really make your face. So the confidence that they get from seeing themselves, it's just like, there's no feeling like it, knowing that you help somebody's everyday life,
Do you get a sensation of that too, of being of help to people like that that are coming and seeking for, just? I'm telling you, I was like blown away with the fact of the things that you don't think about that other people really have to go through day to day.
Yeah,
with
like
all
she was
this
talking about
anxiety and stuff. Yeah,
like going to a restaurant. I think she said, yeah, it's crazy, and then even for girls with eyebrows, not everybody knows how to draw their eyebrows on, so. There's girls out here just, or you've seen them, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing.
And when I first tried to do eyebrows, I was in El Paso, and that was when there was no trainings, there was no like ombre powder brows. It was just like, and when I started, I was kind of just fixing all these eyebrows that were like solid black or green because back then there was no permanent ink. It was just tattoo ink.
So all they had is the Sharpie mark that looked like it.
And I quit because I was like, you know what, this is not fun for me. Like I don't know how to fix these. So I quit for a while. So I think it was 2000, I think like 2020 when I found this girl. Her name's Neezy Baby Beauty, and I fell in love with her technique and stuff like that. So I actually went to New York to take her class.
Oh wow! So how many? Of course, you've been doing it, 7 years now, tattooing solid. But of course, you're always expanding and wanting to educate yourself in different techniques. So you're actually willing to go to travel to
all
get
the
those
time.
all the time?
Being an artist, you can't stop learning. If you feel like you've learned enough, you already
scraped the surface.
Yeah, you don't know anything. Because every year there's something new. There's new products, there's new techniques, there's new
guns,
apps, new
machines.
Like, so it's like you never stop learning in this industry, ever.
And it's beneficial for you to keep learning because you'll be falling behind of the other people that are getting this stuff.
Exactly.
So you gotta stay ahead.
There's kids out here like straight from art school getting into tattooing. So yeah. And I mean, good for them, And then on the other side, there's people who don't draw at all that tattoo. So
they do?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's some people that don't draw at all. They just kind of they can copy paste, or there's some artists that are really good tattoo artists. You know, they are really good, but they don't draw. Like they can't just freestyle and draw something up.
Yeah, I like the fact that you were telling me about the SMP, about a lot of women go through some stuff that
Yeah.
helps them too as well with some of the things. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So a lot of the SMP I've done is on women. You know, going through anything from stress to postpartum. You know, we lose a lot of hair like in these areas. So there's a lot of women that struggle from, you know, not having density right there. Some girls never wear their hair in a ponytail, will never wear their hair in a bun just because, you know what I mean? They don't want to show.
Yeah.
So it's the same sessions, about 2 to 3, and it'll really create a dark density that'll kind of mimic a spray or, you know. So that also helps a lot of women.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, just like SMP,
Mm-hmm.
every so often you have to retouch it.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's more on the top surface of the skin. Is the makeup the same thing for the eyebrows and the lips that you have? That's why you have to every so often retouch it.
So usually you'll get your first appointment,
Mhm.
and then anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks after that, there's a touch up that's required. Just because we get to really go over anything that didn't heal right, and after that touch up, you can go. I have a client that's had her eyebrows for 4 years, and they're a little bit light, but they're perfect. You know. So skipping that touch up will only allow your permanent makeup to last maybe like a year or two. Just because that second touch up is really what locks in like the color, the saturation. So I have a few clients that don't come back, and then it's like a year and they're like, "Hey, they're kind of faded already." And I'm like, "Well, girl, you never came back for your touch up."
So during the
So
talk, yeah,
yeah.
doing
We
the
tell them, and then some clients just don't come back, you know?
marketing your calendar, girlfriend.
Yeah,
This
so
time you have to come see me.
that's what I give to Erica though, because she charges everything at once, and then it's like it's already paid for.
Yeah.
You know, so they have, and then you know they have to come back. So I'm learning from Erica too. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start doing that.
Yeah, I like the you also offer the payment plans that I see on
Yes,
your
Cherry.
website.
Mhm.
Yeah, on your IG stuff.
Mhm.
The website, I don't know if you're under construction, right? You still
We are,
working on it?
yes. We're getting we just hired a new marketing team, so we're gonna
Mm.
have like all of our website done on Google, super legit. But yeah, we usually recommend a touch up and stuff like that. But and then even for the eyebrows, we recommend like a color boost every maybe 18 to 20 months, but that doesn't mean you need it. It's
Mm.
just if you feel like maybe the color is a little bit dull. It really depends on how much you're in the sun, lifestyle. You know, I have clients that never go outside, and then their eyebrows are great, and then I have the sun beauties that are just all quemadas, and they're gone. But
You know what?
But I'm like, I'm here for you.
But the thing is, that even I learn something every time I have somebody like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't ring a bell to me to be if you're on the sun is gonna affect if you have any ink,
Yeah.
and it does.
So the first 6 weeks of any tattoo's life is when it can heal the quickest.
Mm.
That's when like you need to be covering it. I'll have clients send me pictures like they're at the beach or something, and they'll have like a toalla or like a shirt. They'll be like, "Look, it's covered," and I'm like, I'm proud of you.
That's the hope.
But yeah, definitely, you know, a lot of sunscreen on your tattoos. I have clients that are like, I only put sunscreen on my tattoos. I'm like,
Everything else.
yeah, no, forget everything else. But my
It is.
tattoos, they're covered. And I'm like, okay.
That's crazy.
I'm like, I'm not judging you.
Okay, so I know you were super excited to be here, and again, it makes me feel really nice that you wanted to be here and
Yeah.
be interviewed. But was there anything else in mind that you had on your drive over here? Like, I wish you really asked me about this, or I wish you touched up on this. Is there anything else besides the questions and things that I asked you so far?
I guess right now a big thing is just I want to shout out like all the moms going hard right now.
Yeah.
I'm a mom. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Mhm.
So it's definitely hard to be self-employed and be a mom and a wife and you know, and I know so many, Erica being one of them, just out here killing it, being a great mom, being a great entrepreneur, like inspiring people, changing people's lives. So, and to the dads too. There's a lot of single dads out there, you know what I mean? Everybody just trying to be better at everything for their kids. So just I want to shout out to all the parents out there
Awesome.
going hard for their kids.
Awesome. All right, so we're running a short on time. Thank you very much for coming and sharing everything that I think very informative and the passion that you have. When did you know? I know you like art for a long time, but do you remember your earliest recollection of just loving art, loving to just start drawing, scribbling, and anything else?
Yeah. I mean, in school, me and the art teachers were just that was my class. You know, me and the art teachers were always so cool, and it just came so easy to me. You know, like drawing fruit, and you know, obviously that's like a little bit boring sometimes when you're in school, but to me, it was just so igniting, and I loved being able to like bring something realistic into life on paper. I just always thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it, definitely. All right. As far so it's very obvious that
Yeah.
you're a tattoo artist.
I know,
like kind
right?
of straight up. This one right here. What is this right here?
So my mother's maiden name is actually Humble.
Uh-huh.
So I have the script right here.
Wow.
And he actually did it like freehand. He drew it and then just kind of.
Who's that?
His name's Chicago. He's the owner of Ink and Iron in El Paso. The guy I apprentice under. So he just like drew it. He's a Sharpie master. So he just drew it and we just did it. One of my least painful tattoos.
How many tattoos you have total?
Oh God, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I have one now. I'm just like all one.
and who's your go-to person now as far as artists? Is it your husband? Is it somebody else?
Yeah. Now we just tattoo each other whenever we can.
Really?
Like I have a cover up that I've been needing to finish on his arm, and you would think people are like, "Oh, you're married to a tattoo artist. You must get tatted all the time. It's so cool." I'm like, no, I have to put myself in his schedule, and then you know what I mean. I remember even one time I wanted a birthday tattoo, and I had to wait. Because he was booked. And I'm like, that is not cool.
Well, it's good.
I mean, it is good, but
it's
not what people think. They think we're just at home, like, tattooing each other all day.
if I was to think that if y'all were artists, then whenever you're chilling watching a movie,
just all the time. Just let me see your foot.
Maybe if y'all were younger and
maybe if we didn't have kids, maybe.
Well,
but I think that too is just like, we're just tired. We're like, turn the lights.
So if artists, tattoo artists are married to each other, they're not always tattooing each other.
We're not always tattooing each other.
Whatever you thought about, that's just not the case.
It's false. That's totally false.
Again, I'm one of the guilty ones because I would be thinking like, hey,
it's easy, right?
But it's great that y'all stay busy, y'all stay booked, and y'all continue to grow, the business, expand the business, your knowledge, and just keep learning. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
All right, so give me all your social media, everything, and any projects or any events that you got coming up soon.
Okay, our Instagram is going to be Ink and Beauty Tattoo. And there we also have another artist at our shop. His name is Jake. He's also on there. He does, we all kind of do different styles.
Yeah.
But you can follow us there and find all of us there. My main page is going to be Vida Bay Ink, and that's going to be VIDABAYE_ink.
We'll put it on the description, all of them.
Got you guys. And then just be patient for our website. It's coming up. But once that's up, we're going to have, everything on there. We'll have, we do a lot of raffles. We do a lot of giveaways and stuff like that.
That's
so
cool.
Definitely watch out for that.
Absolutely. Any events that you have or any projects?
We just had a customer appreciation. We're definitely going to be having another one. I don't have a date yet, but that will be coming soon. Before we are thinking of moving from this place. So that'll definitely be before we move. We'll have another event at our shop.
Appreciation day, what does it consist of?
We gave away two $2,000 tattoos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was the raffle. And then we did an online giveaway, one for $500 and one for $300.
It's still not.
Still good, So we definitely give them away. And then, Mother's Day, I try to always, give one away to somebody's mom or, we always try to give back as much as we can.
So a lot of the things that you evolve in just giving away or and of course helps with the business is giveaways and raffles and things like that.
For like appreciation events and stuff like that, we do always try to give away and give back to our clients because at the end of the day, they're coming and spending money on us, trusting us to give them a forever tattoo. You know what I mean? So definitely appreciate you guys.
There you go. Much love to y'all. And do you have any? Okay, so the project will be kind of the website. Is there anything else that you have? I know you already have a lot of services that you offer.
I know. Right now, we're really focused on making like merch. We want to start painting more, have like art for sale, stuff like that. So definitely building little by little. But right now, we're just trying to stay busy and continue to grow. Even though I've been here 7 years, I still feel like I don't know anything here. So I'm still always trying to grow and meet people. So it's been awesome. So
maybe later on it'll be beauty and ink. Or ink and beauty and more.
Maybe and more. Just and more.
And more. What more, man?
Just what else?
There's a lot. Ink, beauty, ink and beauty and whatever else.
Yeah, my husband has even talked about, having a podcast too, because he's kind of like a history. He loves history and stuff like that. So a lot of ideas, a lot of stuff that we want to get together in the next
Everybody
few years.
and their mama has a podcast. Lori's have podcast. Rose's have podcast. people that you would not think have a podcast. They're doing podcasts.
But shout out to your podcast. I love that you're
much.
Representing, Latin people and everything. I love our culture, so it's important.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Yeah.
And shout outs. I know you gave shout outs earlier to the moms and the dads too. Don't be sad.
Yeah. Don't be sad.
But who else would you want to give shout outs?
I definitely want to give a shout out to my shop, my husband, just for the constant support. Give a shout out to Ink and Iron in El Paso, Texas, of course, because, that's where we started. Shout out to my dad for putting me in the mix. And just all the support from everyone, everywhere that I've ever been. I still keep in contact with so many clients, and it's just great to constantly get that support. So.
Yeah. Do you get people coming from far away, from out of town to get?
Yeah, I've had people
drive. You said Italy, right?
Yeah, he actually lives here. He's just from Italy. But yeah, I have people drive from San Antonio, Austin. I've had people come from El Paso. So it's definitely, it feels good when people are like, yeah, I drove all the way over here for you.
And out of state, anybody?
I've had somebody come from Florida.
Nice.
Where else?
Sure
and California. Yeah, I've had.
Sure wasn't the alien guy? I'm just kidding.
I know, right? Imagine.
Don't bring that alien guy.
Tattooing an alien. I'd be down.
Would you do?
I would be down.
Yeah, you have to learn their skin, see what it feels like.
I know, it's all slimy.
Okay, what is an important lesson that you learned doing tattooing that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
I think the hardest thing was just to honestly trust that I could do this. There was such a, especially during my apprenticeship, thinking of doing big tattoos would just scare me. I don't know. I just was not that I felt like I wasn't good enough, but it was really hard to get past that line of because it's a thin line between still an apprentice and then, okay, I'm a tattoo artist now, so it was really fuzzy for me to kind of get there to be okay, I'm no longer an apprentice. And there's never really a moment that says okay, you graduate now, because it's really on you. But I would just, recommend to just keep going and keep practicing. Practicing, even if you're not tattooing on people, there's fake skin now. You can tattoo on bananas. You know what I mean? Just learning the depth, learning and just draw. For anybody wanting to be an artist, I just feel like having that creative outlet, because there's sometimes that during a tattoo, maybe something will wipe off, or maybe an ear will wipe off, and then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna re-stencil it, or can you just redraw it in there? So there's moments like that where it really does take creativity. So I would say for anyone just wanting to just keep practicing.
So you just got to keep your hour. You get I get this moments at the time se me va todito. I get short circuit of what the heck did I was just trying to say. So you really do have to put in the work, the hours, and the practice, because otherwise, it's gonna show on the work, the final product eventually.
Mm-hmm. And even I can tell that I've been tattooing a long time. Let's just say I'll have a week that I don't, or a few days that I don't tattoo or something like that. I can tell I have to warm my hand up. I'm not so. Imagine for somebody that doesn't really know a lot, and then they're not practicing.
So you warm up your hand?
Yeah, you have to. Well, now it can warm up by itself, but even I can tell my hand is not as loose as it is an hour into the tattoo. You know what I mean? So, and even Erica, she still practices a lot. She still does a lot of melons. She still does her, and she's great. So,
okay, I know you said earlier that from apprentice to artist, there's really not a moment, but there had to be a time where it kind of sunk in, where the confidence met the practice that you have been doing forever and a day.
Yeah.
You kind of sort of remember a time when you were just getting down and you were like, oh yeah, it's me.
Yeah. I think the moment for me was back in El Paso. I had a friend that wanted a spine tattoo, letters down her whole spine. And at the time I was the shop manager, so I set her up with an artist, and she came in and I'm like, okay, let me show you to the artist. And she was like, no, you're going to do it. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, there's no way I can do it. And she was like, girl, yes, you can. And she passed away. Her name was Jeanette. Shout out to her. But she was like, dude, I'm not leaving until you do the tattoo. And she literally made me, and I had to get over it at that moment. And it came out great, And at that moment, I saw that it was just me in the way,
I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Why do you think she insisted on you, and why did you feel like you saw? I don't know if it was a friend of yours you seen for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like you had a conversation and you you needed a little bit of push of somebody believed in you that you can do this?
Yeah, there was definitely no conversation. She was just an angel that walked in and did that for me, you know? But I definitely feel like that's spiritually, like that's what I needed. I feel like
Yeah.
that was brought to me because that's what I needed to get past that, you know, the confidence I was lacking. And after I did it, it really like gave me so much confidence to just do it. Like
Come with it.
just
With a gun. I'm a tattoo artist now.
Who's
What's up?
next?
Who next? That's awesome. All right. Normally, whenever I wake up throughout my day or sometime, maybe some meditating, maybe something, I'll be
Yeah.
like, I say this mantra or this saying because I heard it a long time ago, which I thought it was very interesting to remind myself. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. And that's just not to terrify me, to scare
Yeah.
me, to be like, oh my God. It's more like it happens every day.
Every day.
It happens every day. And we're so fortunate and grateful that it doesn't happen to us or anybody
Yeah.
close to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it makes me realize I need to hurry up and do things, keep moving, keep doing things, keep fulfilling things because, we're not here forever in a day.
Exactly.
We're not here forever. With that, I wish you a long, prosperous life, all the success in the world with everything that you do. But after everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
I guess I would just want people to see that anything's possible. And unfortunately, the main things that stops everybody from reaching their goals is, like I said, I was in my own way, is literally just us. Especially right now with everything going on in the world, mental health is so important. And I think it's so important to just come through for yourself. You say you meditate in the morning. That is a part of it too. I feel like everybody should have that moment to be alone with themselves and be comfortable and know that, you know what I mean? Trust yourself. Because there's a lot of people out there that I know amazing artists out there and they don't have the confidence to pull through for themselves.
Yeah.
And like I've seen people just crash, like they just gave up. And it's kind of really sad to see. So I would hope that anybody would get the message to just not give up and be your biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Be there for yourself, for sure.
They could, like, for example, you kind of stopped a few times, but, it always kept calling you.
Yeah.
And it always kept calling you, always found it to where the path just kept leading that direction.
Showing up, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool that it did that for you. I mean, shout out to you for 7 years and being consistent. It's crazy to me, the stories that we get to dive and to talk about. When you see somebody on social media or wherever it is, you never think of anything, right? Of course, you feel like you might know that they have a life, but 4 years old with your dad, I can almost see it.
Yeah.
How you're just paying attention, waiting for the moment, and like now, and then you with your foot, and all that stuff is crazy to me. That how it kind of builds you up to be this person that you're eventually going to be, and do the work that you do, and especially. I know some people think that a tattoo might be a tattoo. People might not be against tattoos. They don't really care about tattoos. But the fact of the things that you say in regards to the therapy part, that other people helps them, right?
Yeah.
They get to find something about themselves. They get to maybe even vent. They get to get something out of their heart that maybe just for whatever reason either they don't want to go to therapy because of that. And at the moment they get to release with you and talk about it. And then also the impactful things about the certain tattoos that you do that gives confidence to people to go out in the world and feel proud, even though they should. I don't know. Something there is just not connecting.
Yeah.
But you help them to be out in the world and be for them presentable, and then we be able to interact and have that confidence to be just out and about and be like, yeah, I'm a tattoo artist. Yeah, I'm this person. And so with that, without a doubt, Drea, you are a global Latin factor. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you finding us. I appreciate just the conversation in general. So thank you. You definitely are a global Latin factor.
Thank you so much.
All righty. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. The Global Latin Factor podcast. You're another name. If you've been here, if you watched to the end, go and subscribe. Carlos be throwing some egg. What do they call eggs? Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
On some of the episodes, he be throwing Easter eggs.
Yeah.
You don't think, because what I be doing is I be watching the entire episode in its entirety. So it's kind of like quality control. But at the end, he think he's slick. I don't find the things that he be putting in there. I'm like, really, Carlos? I see it. Even the disclaimers when he proves me wrong. Well, he corrects me, and I'm all for it. I'm not perfect. in that sense. So I appreciate whenever he throws in some stuff that I misspoke or corrects me. So that's cool. So, hey, y'all be on the lookout for that. But in order to do so and get notifications, you got to subscribe to the channel. So remember to subscribe to the channel. And remember, we are just like you. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Bye.
Thank you very much for checking out this amazing episode. We hope that you enjoyed the story. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel and check out the episodes that we have prepared for you. Until next time.
Walks like a pero but in fact is a flamingo. Coming to Havana.
They're gone.